What's going on, boys and girls of YouTube? Bringing you the tier list, but before we jump into it, remember, we came up with a new way. I've been asked this multiple times to have a way to support me and support the Weak Nation, support the stream, support the YouTube, without having to donate or subscribe for $5 on Twitch or donate on Twitch. So we started up a $1 tier on Patreon. It is the only tier there is on Patreon. And it's just a way for you to support the stream without having to drop that $5. Just a lower end. It's literally $1. So if you guys have been looking for ways to support the stream, that is there in the link below, right there at the top in the description. Essentially, you will have your name and whatever message you want posted at the end of all of my edited videos. So you'll be able to check that at the end of this video just to see if it's something you're interested in. Either way, I appreciate the support so much, guys. Thank you. You guys are fucking sick. You're awesome. Outside of that, remember to hit the subscribe button right now if you're not. I don't know why you're not, but you should be. And remember to hit a like and hit the like and leave a comment. Let's jump into this fucking video. What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? I'm bringing you a nice little tier list today, prepping for the patch to come out on Tuesday, assuming it does. Also kind of prepping you for everything from now until whenever Hi-Rez releases their big Season 6 changes patch. That'll affect everything. We will be updating as soon as they have information out on that, really. But we're going to just jump into this, and it's going to be based around ranked, with a little bit of the competitive aspect and competitive play and what we've seen. And then obviously it'll trickle down into your casual games. SS tier is going to be completely broken, picked first or banned every single game, almost always banned. Sorry, fucked that up. SS is going to be your broken god, the most broken gods in the game. Currently, right now, there really aren't any SS gods. Just straight up. S plus is going to be your top pick, top banned every game. S pick is going to be through most, some of the time, not all the time. Sometimes gets banned. Most of the time will be top picked. So banned almost every game, gets picked if it's not banned. Banned a lot of the time, definitely gets picked when it is not banned. And then you've got your S minus, which are going to be your just next tier of gods, which you might pass up. If you're first pick, your second pick, you might pass up and let it through into the third picks. A plus is going to be your pretty just consistent top gods, your gods that are good in almost every matchup. They aren't necessarily the best in the world, but you can just pick them all the time over and over and over again. A tier is going to be kind of your standard for gods, your neutral, your gods that are just good. They're not great, they're not fantastic, they're not insane. They're just good gods that can be played pretty much all the time. A minus is when you get into those gods that are kind of in between, where there's going to be matchups you do not want to play into it. You might not just draft the shit up front. You might wait and see what your matchups are. B tier for me is going to be just bottom tier. Your gods that you're not going to see other than counter matchups, pretty much. They're going to come into play when the perfect counter matchup, the perfect comp comes up. C tier is going to be just never fucking played ever, pretty much, or just shouldn't be played that much unless you're just playing it for fun. D tier, I'm not even going to get into. C will be our last tier. So I'm going to leave it here. So I'm trying to get it to all the gods on the screen. All right. So first up is Achilles. Achilles is just one of those gods who is consistently pretty good. He's not great. He has, in solo lane, he has a lot better matchups than he does out of, say, a jungle Achilles. But I am going to put Achilles into the A+, because of just his consistent, solid play. It's a pretty mobile god. He's tanky. He's got movement speed if you want instead of being tanky. He's got lockdown with the stun. He has an execute. He can just do a lot in a team fight. In terms of one-on-one jungling, he's pretty much going to be out-jungled 90% of the time. He does have some decent matchups. And then in the solo lane, I actually like him into some of the mage matchups. And even some of the guardian matchups. And then having the execute can just go really, really far in your team fights. Agni. Another A+. One of those mid gods that is beyond solid. He has great matchups. He has great team fight. His laning is pretty good. At lower levels of play, he's not as safe because people don't really understand how to use his kit. They get out of position. They try to land too many bombs. They waste their dash. If you can get away from doing that, you will go a lot farther. AMC for me is going to be B tier. Only going to come out in the perfect matchup. Only going to come out in the perfect team comp. Apwash is going to be S tier. Apwash is probably I don't want to say probably. Say he's top 3 mage, pretty much guaranteed. Um, he has great clear, can't siege against him. He can push in, he can poke. He's good against anyone with healing, which is being played a decent amount right now. Just an overall great mid laner. Able to self peel with his fucking just damage. Essentially, he doesn't have CC, but able to self peel with his ult and his damage, and then able to sustain with his kit, which is just unique, especially for an immobile god. It's really solid to be able to poke and also just keep healing yourself over and over again until your team can turn the fight. Aegis, baiting, and using your abilities on top of yourself is going to be a key for anytime you're being dove. Amaterasu is going to be A minus from me. Pretty much played in the solo or the support, more so in the support than anything right now. I personally see as just being the strength. There's way better gods. She's got some matchups that she'll come out in. If there's god, a lot of supports are banned, she might come out. If you need a physical support for some reason, she might come out. That's why we're putting in her A minus, where she's not just gonna be played all the time. She's not gonna just be like a good fallback god. She's gonna come out in the right situations, but you could pick her just without knowing the matchups. You could pick her because you need a physical. You could pick her because you have some strategy in place, and that's why she's at A minus. On her, average god, nothing crazy. Good early pressure, but that's about it. So he's A tier. Anubis, I'm gonna drop down in a C tier. I don't think he should be played that much right now. I think he's a gimmick slash pub stomp god. The greatest part about Anubis is being able to destroy somebody with your ult and sustain through any damage. Anti-heal instantly counters that, and a good team fight, anyone diving you, you're not gonna be able to do that, which is pretty much every god right now. So C tier. Aokwang, B tier, only coming out in the right matchups. Just not a solid god, not good save, not good early game, not super safe. Can get out pressure, just not the play. Aphrodite, B tier, only going to come out in perfect matchups. You already know, no clear. Great team fight if you get to really, really late game, but even then it can be a difficulty, especially with Odin in the meta and anti-heal being so easy to pick up. Apollo, A minus, you don't see him picked up very often as an ADC. You don't see him picked up anywhere, to be honest. But overall, it's not because he's bad. It's just there's a lot of hunters that are better. So if those hunters are banned, or if you're looking to play a global pressure comp, you're looking to just split push in the late game, you have something based around Apollo, you can put it in A minus. I wouldn't put him down into B because you could straight up pick him into a strategy where Amazon Cab or Aokwang, you're gonna need to see how the draft plays out. You're gonna see what gods are played, and then you're gonna counter pick into it or just pick into it. Arachne. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I don't really know why that just happened. Arachne is C tier. Oh, I just realized you can see the bottom. Arachne is gonna be C tier. Basically, as much as I love Arachne, as much as a lot of you love Arachne, she's just not good. She's overall not good. She's a pub stomp god for lower end games, or if you are just a much better player than who you are playing against, you will excel. She's got crazy starts. Similar to the rat starts, she can do wild things to get an early lead, but overall, her team fight is not that good. You need to be able to have these quick engages, quick burst fights without being focused, which isn't common once you get up into higher levels of play. Ares, probably one of the biggest shifts for me in kind of positioning and in the meta and everything is Ares gets played a lot and he fucking kills it. I would say more so in your casuals and a ranked is he's going to be easy to fucking play. In competitive, he gets focused a lot. If he falls behind, it becomes a lot less useful. In competitive and ranked, in ranked and casuals, you're able to just push your lead. You're able to poke. You're able to be annoying. You're able to rotate. You're able to solo people. And putting Ares in A+ is very easy for me right now. It's just insanely good in terms of countering almost every god that is played right now. The ultimate is awesome and allows for your team to have so much more, I don't want to say team fight potential, but just control in team fights. You're able to burn beads and do whatever you want, which is awesome. I just like his matchups. I like picking him. He can be picked early in the lineup. Solid fucking support right now. Artemis, A minus. Just picking him into the right matchups. Once again, it's all coming down to matchups currently. I don't know why that just highlighted. All coming down to matchups. Realistically, he'll be drafted or she'll be drafted not early. She isn't bad to draft if it's comfort pick, if you need the CC immunity all. Not necessarily just going into like they picked this god, I have to play Artemis now. It's just she feels comfortable, you'll play her. She's definitely a lot stronger and safer and better in team fights than the B tier gods. Kind of falls in line with an Apollo or say Amaterasu. Artio. In my eyes, one of the best gods in the game right now. Having the lockdown and the control and the safety that Ardio has is there's not many gods in Smite's history that really compares to it. If you think about it, a god with a root, a god with a heal, a god with a cripple, a god with a stun. So you pretty much have the ultimate setup god who also can pump out damage while doing so, which is just unreal. So throwing Ardio in the solo or to the support works wonders. It's freaking great. I personally like Ardio in the solo lane because I'm usually a physical jungler and being able to gank that lane is insane. Just having the potential. If you're in a casual, you're in a rank game, you have an Ardio solo, just gank the fuck out of the lane. Kill him over and over and over and over and over again. It is very easy, and Ardio is an insane god ahead. So getting the lead is there. And then in the support role, the god just has pressure. The god has rotation ability. The god's team fight in the 3v3, the mid 3v3, rotating in with the jungler in the mid is almost better than every other guardian you could possibly play. Athena right now, S-. I want to put Athena in the S tier, but because you have Chiron and you have Geb, which are very good right now, and they're almost always played when there's an Athena, I don't care to put Athena at S tier because Athena won't. You aren't just going to draft an Athena because Athena's there. You're going to draft Athena when it fits with your team comp and when a Geb isn't going to completely ruin the team comp, when a Chiron isn't going to completely ruin the team comp. You might even wait so you can ban second phase those gods away just so you can control the team fights and the gods that are played on the other team. That's why Athena's an S- for me. Awilix, hard counter pick right now. I like Awilix into the matchups, but if they don't have leaps, I don't want Awilix. If I don't have knockups and they have leaps, I don't want Awilix. So Awilix is gonna go to B tier. It's gonna be a counter matchup god. It's gonna be a god you play into the right situations. B tier for Bacchus, another god, right situations, only way he's coming out. Bakasura, A- for your ranked and casual games. Pub stomp god. Pub stomp god. You control the farm, be a farm bot, just fucking invade and take their shit on cooldown, ward their shit up, and you will do work. I don't want to put Bach in A because honestly, his team fight is lacking. He doesn't have a lot of control. You have to have that lead to really take over a game. You get that lead through out farming the other people. You out farm the other people by being better than them in general. So that's why you're going to see Baka just succeed and excel more in those casual and ranked games. Baron, one of my favorite mages right now in Smite. Baron's going to go into S-. As long as you're not early picking Baron, like too early picking Baron where you get counter matchupped. For the solo lane, Baron's awesome. I think Baron in the support role in your ranked and casuals is insane, and most people don't know how to play into it. So that's why I'm going to put Baron in S- for this. If we were looking at competitive, I'd probably drop him down to A+. Bastet, even with the buffs, weak god, counter matchups, haven't seen her do too much. Putting her into B tier. Bologna, A-. Bologna's always been a fairly average god, especially when auto attack meta isn't the thing, and right now it's not. She has some games and some matchups where, yeah, you want to play her, you want to do your thing. Overall, she doesn't have crazy pressure. She doesn't have crazy team fight. She doesn't have crazy sustain. She doesn't have anything that would make me want to bump her up to A to be the god you could play all the time. Kabrakin, counter matchup god. There's no point you're just going to draft a Kabrakin. You will want to have the perfect matchups. You'll need, say you need magic out of the jungle, but you also need control. Maybe a Kabrakin then. Solo lane, you get last pick and something comes up where Kabrakin just works. That's where you'll see him played. Camazotz, I'm going to put him in A-. High pressure god, pub stompy god. Reminds me, it's just like a Thanatos. Like a Thanatos and Camazotz aren't bad gods, but at higher levels, they aren't going to be able to just free farm and free kill and free poke and do everything like they will in your normal ranked and casual games. Cerberus. Put Cerberus in A+. Cerberus is a weird god. I think Cerberus can be played every game. I think he's a lot stronger than a lot of the other gods that could just be played every game. You could draft a Cerberus early, throw him into support or solo, and he will do work no matter what. His team fight is awesome. Protection shred is awesome. Just his potential to pressure out, keep up the pressure, kill, all that stuff is really key on why he's at A+. CERN with the buffs is going to be an A+ hunter for me. I kind of like it a lot having him. His team fight is really, really good now, having the slow on the ultimate. It's 20%, I believe, but it feels horrible being unable to control your character and also being slowed. You're just destroyed with that CERN ult in team fights, and that's why he's bumped up to A+ for me. Chalk, I think Chalk is Le Poo Poo. I think his team fights late game are worthless. I think he's completely worthless. I think early pressure is there, but that's nowhere near enough to bring Chalk out because soul laners can just AFK farm and avoid the early pressure and then come in and rotate into team fights to be way more useful. He just doesn't have the lockdown and the control you need out of a solo laner. Definitely not a jungler. B tier for sure. Chunga, average god, can be countermatched pretty hard, so you're not going to be top picking a Chunga, but Chunga overall is decent. Like she's got what you need in a kit. She's got safety, she's got damage, she has control, she has CC, a little bit of everything. A tier. Chernobog's a huge bump down for me now. I honestly don't know what the fuck happened. Going into lands and worlds a couple months ago, he was like a top pick god, and then when the lands rolled around, it was like, nah, doesn't work anymore. And you see it get played, and it just wouldn't do what it was doing online. It wouldn't do what it had done for months. I personally just think people kind of began to respect the ult. Everyone began to communicate, even in ranked and casuals. It's communicated more. People don't get picked out as much, and I think that's just being used to the god. So we're dropping him down to A tier. Chiron bumping up to A plus. Solid god, nothing crazy pressure wise, but the dispel on the one on Chiron is pretty much top tier. Also, his ult is hitting fucking hard as shit. And the fact that you can just play into those team fights and having that in a team fight rather than an extra 100 damage goes a lot farther right now. So Chiron's getting a bump up to A plus. Chronos, A tier, average god. We saw him played at Worlds. When played flawlessly, he is just a solid god. When played perfectly, he is a solid god. He is not fucking OP. He's not impossible to deal with. So we're dropping him into A. Kakulin, A plus. Always been a warrior that just does his thing. One of the few warriors I actually still enjoy having on my team. Late game, kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant, but nowhere near as useful as he should be, or you would hope a warrior would be. So that's why he's an A plus. Cupid getting a bump up. Hard counter pick to a lot of the gods. To almost every god that's picked. You're seeing the pressure out of the duo lane with certain matchups, bringing in the fucking the RDOs, bringing in the Fenrir, stuff like that. So Cupid works with that. Cupid can pump out the damage when it's on single target, plus the ultimate in team fights and rotations in lane is really annoying. Dodgy, A tier. One of those gods you can pick up most of the time. If gods have CC immune ult, you will not want her, so you will not be drafting her early. Discordia, A plus. Just an extremely safe mage. Honestly, to me, one of the most boring mages to play in the game. But overall, safe mage in the mid lane with high poke and high potential pressure. Once you get into the end game team fights, is awesome. It's very hard to push into a Discordia. Discordia can get into the back line with the damage because her one's got decent range. She has control on the front line with the two. The ultimate can bounce around and get to the back line. Solid god. Erlang Shen saw some nerfs. Still gonna bump Erlang Shen up to. I'm in between S and S minus, to be honest. I'm gonna say S. I think Erlang Shen in your casuals and your ranked is still gonna be played every single game. We see Odin a lot, which kind of sucks for an Erlang Shen. Serket kind of sucks. Nemesis for me, I think, is really good in Erlang Shen. But outside of that, those are just kind of single matchups and things you're not gonna just worry about. Those are not matchups that ruin the god. They just make it a little bit more difficult. They nerfed Erlang Shen's movement speed on his turtle on his 3. Not a huge nerf, very annoying nerf if you play the god a lot, but something you can easily deal with. So S tier still for Erlang Shen. Fafnir, A tier, doesn't bring anything outside of just a normal support, you know? Fenrir, S plus for me right now. I think Fenrir in the support role, especially in your casuals and ranked, is probably insanely broken. If you're a support main and you're playing Fenrir, I don't know how you could ever lose your lane in the lower brackets. People just don't know how to deal with it. People don't do anything. They just run at it and they die. So S tier for Fenrir right now. Honestly, you could bump Fenrir down to S plus for Fenrir. Could bump him down to S if you're taking into account competitive and high levels. But I'm trying to think like platinum, low diamond in there. Fenrir should be prioritized heavily right now. You might not be banning it, but you're almost always guaranteed top picking it, in my opinion. Freya, still broken. Nerfs didn't do shit to her. Banned every fucking game, period. Ganesh, A tier. Average god. Dope if you can hit the combos, but doesn't have crazy laning, doesn't have crazy team fight. Pretty average. Geb, A plus. Solid into a lot of the matchups right now. Solid into your Athenas. Solid into just the gods that are being played. Having a Geb just allows your team fights to get bumped up to that next level. Hurts your laning phase a little bit, usually. Guan Yu, B tier. hard only picked in a counter match. It's some crazy matchups. Hachi, solid god, safe, but nothing crazy. No pressure, no high kill potential, nothing amazing in team fights, none of that shit. Hades got some buffs, so I want to bump Hades up to A minus. High protections in the ultimate. It's gonna make killing Hades in the ultimate pretty fucking difficult. So I expect to see a lot more Hades played with that change. I don't see Hades being broken. Hebo, A minus. Definitely not a counter matchup god. Like, not a god. It's not like, oh, this is played. It's the only time I can play Hebo. It's more like you want some magic, you want high damage, you have the front line on your team, and you want to have a Hebo. You can draft Hebo early, and people will be afraid of it. So that's why I'm putting Hebo in A minus. Hell, B tier, hard only picked up in the counter matchups. Hera, probably the best mid laner in the game right now, next to like Freya and Pwash. If you're playing Hera correctly, you're winning every game. Like, you are seriously winning every game right now. She is getting banned all the fucking time. Hercules, average god. Warriors right now are weak in general. He's got his control, but average. Hou Yi, A plus. Great for clearing the camps. Great for killing. Great for pressure. Really solid hunter. One of the top 5 in my opinion right now. Simple. Hunbat, same spot. Average. Great team fight. Horrible early game. Isis, never getting played. Putting Isis into C tier. Don't know why you would play her right now. She doesn't have anything going for her. Her late game sucks. Her pressure isn't there anymore. Nothing going for her. Izanami, A minus. Just watch out for the counter matchups. Janice, A plus. An amazing mage. I really, really enjoy having Janice in the game right now. Just feels fucking good. Jingwei, S minus. One of the top hunters right now because she's extremely safe. She's pretty much impossible to gank unless you are fucking up. She has high damage. Her clear is there. Team fights there. Everything you really need. Kali, A minus now. I'd usually put Kali into B tier, but with this new build I've been running, I truly believe in ranked and casuals. She probably will win most of her games with the build, so go check that out. I have like 3 of my last Kali videos. All are kind of building. I don't say building, ramping up the build, learning how the build works, changing it, tweaking it, perfecting it. Khepri, A minus. Almost want to put him into B tier because he's pretty shit. But honestly, if you have a heavy dive and you have frontline, Khepri does his job. Kukulkan, average. Good clear in the mid lane, just not super safe. Gotta hit those ults. Kumba, A plus. I like Kumba as a support right now because of the peel and the damage. Most supports don't have high damage, so having the ability to do damage in your ranked and casuals will go a long way. Kazimbo, I super like Kazimbo right now, A plus. Even with Mercury not in the game, you do have a lot of hunters building crit right now. You see Rage picked up early a lot. If you have a Kazimbo on the other team and you have crit, it hurts. If you are Kazimbo and the other team has crit, stand in front of them and fucking ruin their game. It works wonders. Loki, B tier. Nobody's playing fucking Loki realistically. He had a huge spike in play where nobody wanted to play against it and nobody could beat it, it felt like. Nothing really changed except for people remember how to play against Loki again. Loki's not doing his thing. Medusa, A minus. Not a safe god. Decent lane pressure. Outside of that, team fight is okay. So we're going to put her in A minus. Mercury with the big old nerfs. A minus. Golden Blade is virtually worthless on him now. It was helping him insta clear with his 1. Now you have to auto attack to get the clear from the Golden Blade, which is pointless because your 1 already clears it and then you're auto attacking anyway. Your 1 already clears the smalls. So the Golden Blade has no value. The Golden Blade would usually be used to kill the smalls while killing the big. Now you just throw the 1, it kills the smalls, you finish the big. Go Stone Cutting Sword. And I will go over a Mercury build later on. But yeah, that's simple. Naja, I think, is one of the best junglers currently. Highest pressure jungle really in the game outside of Pele and Erlang Shen. So, and Rat equally. I'd say Rat and Naja are pretty much borderline the same. So Naja and S minus, keep with the pressure, great team fight, lots of potential, can go pen, go power pen, can go crit, whatever you want. Neath, still average old Neath. Great having the global. Try to keep the fight away from your lane. You'll be okay. Nemesis for me, A plus. I think Nemesis is destroying a lot of the gods that are heavy prioritized right now, and people don't realize it. Nemesis is in a Fenrir support is actually crazy because once a Fenrir jumps in, realistically, you can turn and fucking destroy a Fenrir, and that's what a Nemesis ult is going to do. Nemesis into Pele, I like the matchup. Nemesis destroys Erlang Shen when played properly. Nemesis on the immobile mages like Alpwash, Hera works great. Save the shield for the damage, boom, you're good to go. Nike, B tier, only picked up in certain matchups, very certain matchups. Nox, A minus, has some decent matchups, but you need to be playing her properly, so most people don't pick her. Nua, A minus, great late game, horrible early and mid game. Really, really, really easy to get fucking destroyed by just being dove. Honestly, you have the self peel with the combo and the stun. You have the self peel with the ultimate, but it is not enough. You will get dove. Odin, one of the top gods picked right now because of counter matchups. That's why I'm leaving him at A plus. Great god because of his ult, and that's it. His ult used properly is how you will win games. If you're ever out pressured, you're fucked. So I don't want to put him any higher than A plus. Osiris, poo poo, never fucking played. I actually want to drop Osiris down in a C tier. He's literally never played at all. You don't see Osiris. Don't do it. Pele, S plus, best jungler in the game still, even after nerfs. Boom. Poseidon, A minus. Sorry, easy to dive. Poseidon, actives completely counter Poseidon. Really difficult god to play if you don't have the right team comp. Ra, A minus. A. Ra's just another average god. Has the play style of able to sustain. So you go into team fights, do some damage, back off and heal. Repeat, rinse, repeat over and over again. Okay. Raijin, S minus. One of the top mages right now. Great pressure. Insane fucking damage. Safe version. I don't want to say all the time, but pretty safe considering you have a CC immune ult and you have the mobility. You just have to watch out for the fact that you're standing still in your ult. So gods like Ra, Scylla, things that just fuck you for standing still will fuck you. Rama, S minus. To me, the next closest hunter to Jingwei. Extremely safe. Better in terms of like team fight and dive, which is why I like Rama so much right now. Ratatoski, on par with Naja, jungle wise. Early start will win you every game. Watch that fucking video. It's literally a start right now with Rat where you will win every single game until people catch on. Every fucking game. I shit you not. I've had at least 50 people come into my stream say I ran your thing 3 games in a row and I've won all 3 games at 60 minutes. And I'm not lying. You can fucking come into my stream and watch it yourself. Ravana, A plus. I really like Ravana outside of his early clear being shit. His team fight is awesome. Scylla, A minus. Just not a safe mage. Hard to play. Essentially, if you are being dove, great to play if your team is diving because you just have control. You have self peel with the root. Your ultimate's nasty. Just hard to get the god going right now. Serket, A tier. She's seen always ups and downs in Serket all the time. But yeah, she's pretty average right now overall. Scotty, A minus. I want to put Scotty into B, but in your ranked in casuals, you see like T Money fragging on her. She still does her thing, just not safe. Not high enough damage, not high enough pressure. It's not all there anymore. Sobek, A tier, great for peeling. Same old Sobek. Soul, A tier, average old Soul, good and mid, ADC, but not great. Not going to be played all the time. Wukong, A tier. I'm putting Wukong in A tier. Borderline A plus because people are running the Soul Eater start Wukong and they're pressuring really hard in casuals and ranked. And I like it, but I want to say like 70% of the people that run it end up feeding their fucking brains out. So as good as it is when played properly, it seems to be difficult for people to not die while playing it. Just go with a tanky fucking build, A tier. Win with that Soul Eater build, A plus. But your normal player, fucking A minus almost. Susano, average, old Susano, decent. Nothing crazy in terms of pressure. Nothing crazy in terms of fighting. Just a okay god, you know, like you got the disruption, but it's not enough to pair against like a Rat or a Naja or an Erlang Shen or a Pele. It's not gonna happen. Sylvanas, A plus. I like Sylvanas' pressure in lane. I like Sylvanas' decent sustain, and I honestly like his team fight when you are being dove or you are diving. If the team fights are kind of stalemated out, you really have to play around the sustain. That's something to remember. Terra, I'm putting Terra up at S tier with the Soul Reaver build, especially with the Soul Reaver E-Staff build coming out of the solo lane. Terra can pretty much one-shot all your squishies, and having a solo that can blink in and be tanky and still do that is virtually impossible to deal with, especially in your casual and ranked games. Thanatos, same as Camazotz, A minus, same reasoning. Morgan, A tier. She's got decent pressure in mid, but her overall team fight isn't that crazy. You have to be able to get off her combo and then ultimate to make her really have full use. If you're not doing that, there's just better gods. She's just not safe enough. And in if you aren't being aggressive. And then if you're being aggressive, it's not safe and it can turn on you very hard. You have to be a really good Morgan player right now to play her. Thor, A-, just not doing as much as the other junglers. I wouldn't even say, I'd say he's average, but I'd say there's so many matchups fuck him that I wouldn't put him as A. Thoth, A tier. I think Thoth is underplayed right now, minus the lack of pressure. Like if you don't look at Thoth's lack of early pressure, crazy poke is still there, team fight is still there, control is still there. I think Thoth should be played more than he is. Tier, average solo laner, mainly because warriors are poo-poo. Ullr, S-. I think Ullr is probably the best all-around hunter in terms of hunter, not in terms of ADC, like not in terms of playing the hunter role, but in terms of just like hunters in the game. Ul in the mid lane, if you're a good Ul player, is one of the best mids next to Freya. Honestly, like if you're hitting all your shit, I think Ul having that early pressure and great mid game is not really comparable to anyone but Freya in the mid lane. In this ADC role, you need to be fucking fragging to make Ul have use out of the ADC role. Vamana right now, A tier. Vamana with the changes coming in, I personally think I'm gonna place him in S- just to be like generous, but I personally think once season 6 rolls around, Vamana with these changes will probably be like top because they want warriors to come back next season. They want warriors to come back now. And I think with the changes to Vamana, he gets so he heals still when he's in his ultimate. He still heals, except for instead of every second, it ticks every 0.1 second. So the same amount is healed in a second, but it's ticking over and over and over again. So you can't die as easily. Like in that second, if 50 health would have kept you alive before, now you'll have it. You'll have healed that much. You'll also have a building up shield while in your ultimate, which is going to be gross. I really think he's just going to be hard to fucking deal with, to be honest. I think he's going to be difficult to deal with. I don't know how people are going to do it. Vulcan, A+, great mid mage. If you're running the turret start where you drop turret at speed and go to mid, I really like Vulcan. That is how I really like Vulcan. His team fight is solid. His poke is solid. Late game is insane. He can be dove very easily, though, with all the gods that are played. Things like Naja just fuck Vulcan up. Xbalanque, one of the top hunters right now because of how hard he hits and because his ult is the possibly top ult in the game, one of the top 5 ults in the game. Xingtian, poo-poo god, I hate Xingtian. Don't do it. There's no reason to play Xingtian. Nothing about him says yay. Think about it. His ult is a 20 times worse Cerberus ult. His 2 gives a reduction in attack speed. Who the fuck cares? It barely does any damage, and that's all it does. You have a leap that does nothing, and you have a knock-up, which is the only good part of the kit. Cerberus has a stun and protection shred. Fucking Sobek has a pluck. Like, there's so many. It doesn't make any sense to play Xingtian. Ymir, not safe enough to be played right now. B tier, even with his pressure. Zeus, A+. Crazy damage, will destroy your ranked in casual games. Zhong Kui, A+. I think tanky Zhong Kui is doing so much damage right now and is so great in team fights where they aren't in comms and communicating to get out and bait the ult and shit like that. Is just almost impossible to deal with Zhong Kui. And that is our tier list, boys and girls. I'm trying to cover as much as humanly possible. Trying to. Remember, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what the fuck you guys want in terms of content, because I'm pumping out as much as I can. Like you can see, I'm pumping out 3 videos a day every day. I will see you all in the video later tomorrow.
Oh, this you crazy mother.